Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brian this way. Welcome to Community Corner. My two friends are.
Hello, my name is Allen County Castle. Welcome to Community Corner.
I'm David Tittle.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have you wanted to learn to cook and gain skill? You want to grow produce? Well, today we have to answer the question. We have interviewing Mark Prentice, the current director of the Rising Stars Academy. The Rising Stars Academy is a school designed dedicated to achieving individuals with intellectual disabilities. Mark, thanks for coming down, my friend.
Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me.
So Mark, can you tell us about you, where you grew up, and what college you attended?
So I grew up in Centerline, Michigan, where
Okay.
the school is located. So I graduated a long time ago, back in 1979. So I was a chef in the food industry for a long period of time, and then I became a teacher back in 2004. So currently, I have 2 bachelor's degrees. I have a bachelor's in quantity food production. I have a bachelor's in marketing, and I also have a master's in special education. So that's my journey through my entire thing, and then now I'm the co-founder with my wife of Rising Stars Academy.
What degree did you pursue in college?
I didn't really pursue anything in college. I mean, until I went to school, but most of my training was on the job site until I became a teacher, and that's when I had to go back to school. So that's when I got my master's in special education.
What led you to found Rising Stars Academy?
Well, it started a long time ago. So when I was in high school, back in 1979, I weighed 450 pounds.
450. Yikes.
So I know that how my students at the academy get treated, because I was kind of treated that way. And so a good friend of mine asked me, he says, Mark, if you had any money, what would you do? And I said, I'd open a restaurant, and my employees would be people with intellectual disability. And then the business side, parents would come support the business because their son or daughter has a place to go. And then so all of a sudden we're writing grants, and then we were awarded the school, and so we opened a school in 2012, I believe it was.
Excellent. Darren?
Good call.
Thank you.
Am I successful?
Well, you got to define successful. Successful to me is that, I see smiles on students' faces and I see them getting employed. That's success to me.
That sounds about good to me.
Well, thank you.
Please tell us about Rising Star Academy.
So Rising Stars Academy is a school dedicated for intellectual disabled or special needs individuals. So we don't have any enrollment that, as long as you leave high school with a certificate in completion and you're under the age of 26, we can take students. So it doesn't matter what your disability label is, we take all students. And so even though that we are primarily, people think that we're culinary based, we're not. We have a whole lot of things, and I'm sure you guys asked me a couple questions what else we have. Yeah. So we teach life skills, money management, reading, all kinds of things, but then we teach about how to get a job, how to fill out a resume, and how to interview. So just like you guys are interviewing me, I interview my students. And then we train them in different job sites so that hopefully that their dream is to get some kind of employment. That's what Rising Stars is about.
Cool. Did I hear you say life skills and money management?
Absolutely. Well, you got to be able to count money.
Of course.
Right? So if you go to 7-Eleven and buy a Slurpee and buy a Snickers bars, don't tell my wife, and a bag of Pringles,
Yeah.
and if you give somebody $10 back, $10, you should be able to count somewhat that money so that somebody's not taking advantage of you.
True.
Right? So we focus on money, but we also can focus on life skills. So we teach about how to use the bus, or how to use the smart bus, or employability, how to apply for a job,
Okay.
how to ask the questions when you get there. And so I can't tell you all my tricks, but we do all those kind of things inside the classroom. And then they go out into the vocational end and learn the job skills kind of portion of it.
Cool. Where is the academy located?
So the academy is located in Centerline, which is a part of Warren. So it's by the tech center area. So like 9.5 in Van Dyke. We occupy a old elementary school that was closed 3.5 years before we started, and now we currently we have bought the building, so we're paying to buy the building, but we own it on a land contract. So hopefully in 5 years, Chef Prentice and his wife and his team of characters will have enough money to buy the property outright.
Cool. Can you tell us about the classes that are available at the Academy?
So, we talked about the life skills class, money management classes, and all those kind of things that are built inside the classroom. But we also know that we have changed. So everybody and you'll see in another month or so that our logo will change. It won't be the chef hat anymore because people still think that we're a culinary school. But like say for the fall that I'm going to have a recording studio. I'm going to have a fiber and yarn dyeing class. Wow. I'm going to have a bicycle shop. I'm also going to have a machine, they call it CNC, that's a plasma cutter that you see all the metal fabrications. Mm-hmm. So we're going to teach our students how to do that because there's a lot of jobs that are available for our students. They can use computers and they don't have to be in a large group.
Yeah, I like computers.
So there you go.
I love
So we
computers.
have all those, and then we teach them in the bake shop, in a processing plant that we have. We go out into job sites so they learn some skills so they're out of the building as well as inside the building.
Yeah.
So currently, we already have a processing plant. We have a popcorn room. We have a bakery that we service customers so that they're restaurants. So we have about 14 restaurants that we service.
Yeah.
So our students learn about the baking and all kinds of things.
Do you teach coding too or no?
No, we don't teach coding. Coding is kind of difficult, but we
Yeah.
teach the basics of different kind of things. We
Okay.
do teach that. So eventually we'll teach some things how to program. The programs will be there, how to use the programs in order to, it sends a message to the plasma cutter
Yeah.
so that it can print that stuff. So if you ever used to watch American Chopper back in the day, when they used to make their own motorcycle rims, it's kind of like that. You program it and it makes the stuff.
Nice.
Thank you.
Are there limitations to the program, or is it open to all with disabilities?
It's all disabilities, and there are no limitations, but the only limitation is that because we have students coming from everywhere, you have to provide your own transportation. So the smart bus is a good option. We did have a former student of ours that lived out here that parents would drop him off at, I think, Costco, and he would take the smart bus to the school and come back and his parents would pick him up. So we can take students, if I want to take students from up north, they can come down as long as they provide their own transportation. Because we have kids coming from South Lyon, which is on the west side, from southwestern Detroit, Lake Orion, Romeo, New Baltimore. We don't have the funds to provide busing for them. It's unfortunate, but we don't have that kind of money to send vehicles up
I'm
to
not
pick
Washington Hills.
them. You can come. You can get transportation. You can come anywhere.
Sweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you enroll in the arts program, Rising Star Academy?
So it's pretty simple. As long as you have a certificate in completion, you fill out the paperwork, you're ready to go. So we don't have a waiting list. We obviously want to know how many students we can have because we still have to run a business, right? We just can't have 2 students and hire a teacher making $50,000 a year. But we try and we try and bring in as many students that we possibly can. That at this point we'll never deny a student to not be able to come in because we have too many students.
Is there an age limit?
To the age of 26. So in the state of Michigan, and we are the only state that we can educate people with intellectual disabilities or special needs students that have a certificate in completion to the age of 26. Everybody else is 21 or 22.
Okay.
Ryan?
One.
Thank you, gentlemen. Are any classes limited to cooking, or are there any other classes as well?
No, it's just not all about cooking. We talked about them, the CNC. We talked about the bicycle shop. We talked about the processing plant.
right.
We talked about the bakery. The popcorn. There's all different kind of different kind of adventures, so to speak, for students to learn. And maybe they want to do something else. Maybe they don't want to be a culinary person.
Popcorn.
Yeah, I own a popcorn business.
I love popcorn.
It's called It's a Poppin'.
It's a poppin'.
It's a poppin'.
I'll
Well,
get some
keep on
popcorn
popping then.
from
I
you.
like that.
Well, you should. The only other kind of popcorn that I eat is Garrett's Popcorn in Chicago, and it has to be from Chicago. It can't be from Novi at 12 Oak. So, well,
Chicago.
That's funny
That's it.
because the college Oklahoma Junior Mints too.
That's right. Yeah. Aaron, Aaron, have a question, Aaron?
What did you?
What programs are available to those over the age of 26?
So we have a program, and it's called the Home Hub. And don't ask me what it stands for.
I don't
'cause
know about it.
remember.
Okay.
But what it is the program designed for anybody that's a Medicaid recipient, and it's a work-based skill training program. It's not a daycare, where that we take those clients out or individuals. We teach them, we go out into the community, social skills. We teach them about job skills. We do take some of our students, and we actually go to the TANCOM, which is a military installation, and they actually help and serve and prep and all kinds of things at the military installation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Can you tell us a little about an urban farm?
So we are blessed that we have 3 hoop houses out and back. What a hoop house is a greenhouse. So we actually have been starting planting in there. We actually have chickens on the property. We are the only people allowed in Center Line to have chickens on the property. So I think we have 12. And so they lay eggs. We're currently getting our farm ready to plant. So we probably have an acre or so that will plant different things from heirloom tomatoes to jalapenos and green beans and all those things. And then we're very close around the corner that probably by when we come back from school in the fall, that we'll be able to take our product, and if we can't utilize it, we can and we can sell it, because we almost have our license to do that. And you have to be licensed in the state of Michigan in order to sell canned or pickle products.
Okay.
We had the opportunity to take a tour of your academy, Let's take a look at the film and watch. Well, tell us
So
about
when you guys were there, is that we showed you every part of the school.
Yes, you did, and I was
from
there with
the
you.
classrooms to that we have an aquaponics. And aquaponics is that we actually grow with fish. So the fish are in the water, and we actually use, and it's not, I don't know how best to describe it, but their fertilizer is basically their poop.
That's
And
right.
it's natural fertilizer, just like chickens, and everybody spends a lot of money.
Okay.
But what happens is that when the fish obviously do their thing, it circulates through this big growing thing, and there's like 1,800 gallons of water, and it's all organic and things like that. We showed you the bake shop where we have different clients
right.
that we service, from Green Space Cafe in Royal Oak to Lucky's. We do Nosh Pit, which is down in Hamtramck. We Detroit Fleet. We do Detroit Barbecue. We do Woodpile Barbecue. So our students learn about how they make the bread, and actually our home hub is our delivering mechanism. They take the product and deliver, so they socialize with them. We also process that we talked about, and you've seen a little bit of that, is that we process anything for any restaurant people out there. They can connect with their produce company. We use 2 produce companies called Dalbane, which is based in the Eastern Market, and Leonardo's, which is in Detroit. And actually Leonardo's, I used to buy, when I worked at a place in Utica, we used to buy our produce from them 35 years ago. So they take the product that we call, and it's called value added, so like diced celery, carrots, shredded carrots, cabbage, and we process for them, we give it to them, and they actually sell to their customers the product. So the whole cool thing about the school is that how everything is based around, whether it's the classroom, whether it's the restaurant that we have, and we have a restaurant that's open 3 days a week, it's based upon teaching our students skills. So a lot is repetition, but also other things that they can do. So if they want to, they can be employed, right? So that's all the school. And when you guys were there, through this whole process, we are blessed. We've connected with an organization. It's called Keller Williams Lakeside, and obviously they're a realtor, but they had their event. It's called the Red Day, and they go out to different places and they pick the charity or whatever, and they came out and volunteered I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, I'm not exactly sure the date, but there was approximately 60 of these folks, and they all had red t-shirts on, and then our students from the academy as well as the home hub, they worked side by side. So in the short amount of time before it rained, for 3.5 hours, they made spiral gardens, they planted the hoop house, they picked stuff, they fixed different things. And so now we just have to plant, and we don't have to do all that work. And besides the point is that some of them never been to Rising Stars, so they got to understand what my students are capable of doing, because they do some pretty magical things, and they develop relationships that are going to last them a long time. So the whole point, for them to come out and volunteer is that, that we look at whoever, and sometimes we all think that our life is so terrible, and sometimes we look at our students, and you know what? Our life is not so terrible compared to what they have to do, right? But they can do a lot of magnificent and special things, and I'm sure some of the footage will show you that kind of stuff. I mean, I had young ladies running with wheelbarrows full of dirt, right? And that to me is crazy. It's like, what are you doing running with a wheelbarrow? Students lifting up cinder blocks to make a spiral garden, doing all kinds of things, and they got it done before it rained at 12:30, and they had lunch together, and they ate together, and they shared stories, and so now my students have a connection with them. We have a thing, it says dream and believe, because if you don't dream and you don't believe in yourself, how are you going to do anything, right? So how I related is that I never dreamed I was going to be a founder of a school. So you know what, I dream, and my dreams came true, and you know what, my mom believed in me, so that's how I got to where I am today. Besides my wife, is that I believed in myself, and I did things people said you'll never be good at, or my label when I was in high school was the dumb fat kid in the corner. So now when I look at people and I speak about rising stars, so it's like it's not bad for the dumb fat kid in the corner, right? So that's how I look at it. So my whole point is that look at things that even though that we're all labeled, right? We're all labeled.
Exactly.
You guys are labeled with intellectual disability or special needs.
Exactly.
Why can't you do what you want to do? No,
Exactly.
I've never told any of my students that they can't do it. Just believe in yourself and dream, right? It's
Exactly.
okay.
And for the people that used to doubt you, what do they say about you now?
You know what? I don't care what they say about me, right? Because every single day, whether it's a student or a staff member or somebody else, people are going to say things about you, right?
Yeah.
But if you know what you have in your heart, and you know that the people that you've connected with, so my mom was a big role model, my uncle, is that if you just still remember who you are and where you came from, and if you have passion, I don't care what anybody says about me. Because if I had to worry about what everybody said about me every day, first off, I'd never get no sleep. Number two, I wouldn't be affected as a founder of the school with my wife. I wouldn't be affected as a teacher or just a human being. So that doesn't matter to me. I don't care about that. I just care about what I have in here and what I do with that kind of information that I have.
Please tell us about your upcoming events.
So we do. So obviously, like most schools, is that we don't receive enough money to educate our students. I mean, we make enough money to pay our bills, and we have a little bit of, a bank account. But we do a big thing at Easter Market, and it's through our foundation. So we have, it's called the RSA Foundation. It is a 501c3. So if people buy tickets or if they want to donate large money, they can get a tax write-off. So what it is that it's a beer, food, wine tasting. It's at Easter Market June 6th from 6 to 10. We have also a chop style competition. We have baskets. They do a live auction where they auction off me to come in to cook some food in somebody's house or one of my staff members. We have probably some very high profile restaurants in the city of Detroit, from my nephew being executive chef at Prime and Proper, to Grey Ghost, to El Charles, to Red Crown, to Bon 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 Chocolate. Numerous other peoples from the Drunken Rooster, all different kind of things. And what it is that we just raise money. So all those funds go to the foundation, but most of all those funds, go to things that, chef feels crazy about, he wants to try. Okay. So that, and anybody that, fundraises, I can take them into school and I can show them every little single dollar that their funds that they've sent to us and helped us raise. I can tell them where everything, their money went. Okay. So there is no administration fees. The money goes straight to whatever we believe inside the school in order to educate our students, right? So come on down. You can buy tickets on the website. So if you just go on to risingstarsacademy.org, you can buy tickets. You can buy tickets the day of the event. And it's just a fun way. And we haven't raised the prices of the ticket. So I think this is our 7th year. And we've kept our ticket prices the same. It's $50. And we have some of the premier wine and beer people in the city of Detroit. From Axel Brewing will supply the beer. Nice. To Blake's, to a good friend of mine in Rochester. His name is Pat. He owns Fieldstone Winery. From Philippa Mark to Westview Orchards. So it's just a great time, and people bring in small samplings you can try of some of that stuff.
Ooh, I made you guys some Blake's Hide Cider event.
There you go.
Blake, come on.
Please tell us about your HOME program.
So we talked about the Home Up program for a little bit. Is that it's a program that's designed that anybody that's a Medicaid recipient, and there's a little process that their case manager have to get approval or units. And they'll do a thing, and just like the school that they have a center-based plan, the school as an IP. So there's a plan of some things that we try and follow that we can help reach the goals of every student in there or client in there. You don't have to, if you have a diploma, you can still come. Like I said, we have clients in there from ages 21 till we have a gentleman named Bob. He's 70 years old and he likes to come because he's doing things and he's kind of a productive member of society. He just doesn't want to sit at home or sit on his chair and do nothing the rest of his life. So imagine at 70 years old, which I'm not that old yet, but just to have some kind of program that he can come to and do some things and do some skills and go out and socialize and all those kind of things.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's always nice to get out.
It is, very much so.
Do you have a success story that you love?
I'll tell you, there's so many success stories.
Yeah.
And, you guys kind of asked the question about success is that, success doesn't mean anything what I have. My success is that I have 3 grandchildren and I get to go hang out with them. But my success is that, and it goes back to the fundraisers, that how much money do we make? I don't really care about the money we make. It's about the connections and where can my students go next. And it's about, that we've been blessed that, school ends in about 4 or 5 weeks. We've already had 10 students that we've helped get hired. And that's unheard of, right? So that's a success story themselves, but they did the work in order to get there. We just provided the tools to get there. But we have some students that have raised levels in math. We have some students that feel a lot better about themselves. They have some more work skill-based training skills. They have some social skills where they can socialize better and understand the right way and the wrong way. That's the success story, right? It's not about, can they, do, 18th grade level math or can they do algebra? It's about what they learn and how they can relate it to the rest of their life, right? So it's all sustainable.
Cool.
Yeah.
David?
Dave?
Okay, this might sound very interesting, guys.
Okay.
I get 2 questions in one. With the age you mentioned in your mission statement, my thought is this. Do you see happening in the person with those with disabilities versus the age difference between us two men?
No, because when you work with your hands, it doesn't matter how old or young you are, right? So if you work with your hands, you can be 50 years old and never have any work skills. You can be 21, but when you work with your hands, your mind thinks better, and you can do other things that if I put you in front of a book the whole entire day, would you be happy?
No.
So age is only a number, right?
Oh.
You can feel as young as you want to, but you can also feel as old as you want to. It depends what you want to do. So there's no difference between ages.
Exactly. Age is only a number.
Exactly.
So I close, guys?
Yes. Yep.
Please close, David.
We would like to thank Mark for the stupid interview and also thank Rising Stars Academy for encouraging those of us with disabilities to become successful members of our community. Our show's mission is to provide our audience information about programs that can help us to live productive and fulfilling lives. We believe Rising Stars Academy is doing a very good job of assisting us in achieving our goals.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure, gentlemen. You're younger than me, so you're going to have to move a little farther, right?
Yeah.
There
Well,
you
I'm
go.
Ryan Nicholas
It
Gray.
was nice having you.
I'm Ryan Nicholas Gray.
My name is Alan Connick.
And I'm your David Tito. Ciao.
Oh, yes. Look for us on Facebook
And Twitter.
and Instagram.
Twiddle?
Bye bye Facebook.
Bye.
So you guys all need to connect with us on our Rising Stars on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
So you can get your reach, because we do have a lot of followers on our Facebook and
I
as
will
well
look
as our
in
Instagram.
Instagram. Facebook got issues.
There you go.
What?
Facebook is closing.
Well, thanks, gentlemen. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Mark. Thank you, Ben.